Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unfiltered with Roxy. My name is Roxana Feenster, and I am your host here. And I originally started this podcast because I was on a journey of self discovery and I was having so many great conversations with people and experiences that were healing, that taught me something that I didn't know before. And yes, some of them were doctors, psychologists. And I just thought, if I was having these experiences with people and learning so much, and it was from random things that they had told me that had happened to them and what they learned and how it became a practice from that. So I just wanted to help people on their journey of self-discovery and see where we could grow and go together. So today's topic is mini lessons in body pump. I don't know if you know this, but I used to be a body pump instructor. Definitely always loved group fitness and working out, health and wellness all my life. And one of the things that I had journeyed to try was teaching group fitness and loved it, and still will probably go back to it again. But what I was doing specifically, I got a certification in body pump, and it's a Les Mills program, and you have to do a lot to get this certificate. When I went, it was a 2-day training, and you're there all day. You're packing all your stuff. You have snacks. You have an extra change of clothes, because I sweat profusely when I work out, still do to this day. And I learned so many lessons from that weekend. And I was just thinking about something that really sticks to you. Practice makes, no, not perfect, permanent. So in this episode, I'm going to dive into a mini lesson that's really not that mini about self-mastery and how practice makes permanent. You may not get perfect, but it will embed in you these great practices that you need to move your life forward and to grow deeper and to be the best person that you're really destined to be. So one of the things with body pump is when you're first learning it, you have to learn the music, the moves, so weight training to a point of mastery where you know what you're doing without looking in the mirror. And I still to this day can do a deadlift and a clean and press with my eyes closed, because that's how much I did it. I did it with heavy weight. I did it with no weight, started out with no weight all the way up to the heaviest weight. Can still do that today in body pump class. As long as I'm not talking and having to instruct, I can still put heavy weight on there and be okay. Got good form. I remember when I first started though, learning the music, and it's all different kind of music, and you're listening for specific things, key words, key tempo changes, because that's what's going to help you call out the different moves before they come, so people know what they're supposed to do. So you're learning the music, you're learning the moves, you're learning how to coach people, because you don't want to be in, first of all, most of the times you're at the gym, you don't want to be there, right? So you want your instructor to be this motivational person even when they don't want to be there. So you're learning how to also coach. You're learning different motivational phrases, like how Nike has just do it. There would be a part in the class where it's just hard. It's a wall, and you need someone to say these motivational things to you to get you through the next level. So you also have to learn how to do that. And I remember when I first started teaching, I mean, you're terrible at that first class because you're like so scared. For the training, I'm sorry, you're so scared. You're like terrified because you have to just learn one song. Okay, there's 10 tracks, there's 10 songs at Body Pump. But when you're going to training, you just have to learn one. And guess what my song was? Kelly Clarkson's What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger. That was the bicep track, and I had to learn it Still know it to this day because I walked into a class and it's been 6 years. And I was like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Anyways, so you're having to learn this one track. And I remember I knew that song back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the first time that I taught it in the class, I probably needed several encouragements on how on how to do it because I definitely forgot. The fear scares you. You have people looking at you that you have to get used to. So after that, I was like, you know what? This is never going to happen to me again. I'm going to be so prepared. I'm going to know this track inside out. And I did that track like everywhere I could. I was in front of people doing this track. So that means that you're going to several body pump classes a week. You're asking people if you can co-teach with them. You're on stage. You're getting used to doing all the moves. In training, I remember we all had to run around the track together. And, like some people are really fit and then some people aren't fit and then some people are in between. So we all had this great idea that we were going to leave our classmates behind and somebody would run with them. And our instructor was so mad. She was like, I can't believe you guys thought that was a great idea. So anyways, and I think I was one of the people that stayed behind because I was never that much of a fast runner. Like I literally ran one day of track and that was just to chase Mr. Feenster because after that one day, I was like, girl, you don't like running. Why are you even here? What is going on with you? So we've addressed that. I was totally head over heels in love with him. And I still am, but I'm not going to ever run track again. I have been working up to running a mile on the treadmill, but that's just because for health reasons, not to chase Mr. Gary anymore. But it's so much work into getting your mastery level in body pump. Not only do you have to learn how to coach, you're learning how to do the hardest level of different moves. So like there's different levels in every class. The light bar is somebody who's not experienced, but there's also like a showmanship part. So at one point I was throwing up my weights, catching them, just doing silly stuff because that's what makes it entertaining. It's like body pump is so great. Like it makes me want to go back to body pump. Like even some of the songs in body pump, like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Pink had a lot of songs in there, but like it was also one that was Go, like the squat track. If you haven't tried a body pump class, just try it. And it's like it's just something that like you can always count on because there's 10 tracks. Even the shorter classes, which tracks are going to be played. So it's like just something that's very grounding, and especially for me. So mastery, you're listening to the songs. I think my kids knew all the songs to the body pump track at one point. And this was, I started on 83, body pump 83. So it was a while ago and they knew all the words. At one point, I think they were even doing the classes with me. They were my class because I have 4. So it was a lot. It was a lot. I think I must have lost like 20 pounds in that whole year because I was doing a lot of classes. I was always trying to get fit so that I could even teach better. It was just a lot, but it was like fun. It wasn't something that was torturous to me. So how does this fit to what we're talking about today? Today, we need to go over what it means to be in mastery, right? Like, I think when I think of mastery and I think of having to do things a lot all the time, I think of things that are grueling, things that are mind numbing, but it's also like a satisfaction of a job well done. And when I started on this journey of self-mastery, I did not realize how much I was going to keep having to practice. practice breathing, practice different resetting for myself. And it's not a terrible thing, right? Especially a couple days ago, I have an older dog and she poops every time you turn around. She's pooping. She has a diaper. She poops. The poop comes out of the diaper. And I just wanted to go and finish one thing of laundry. And I was like, it's only going to take me a couple minutes, then I'll come back, do another block of work, and I'll be done. Whatever the work thing was, I can't even think of it right now. And I was so upset because the dog had just pooped everywhere, which meant I had to stop what I was doing on my flow. I couldn't just put my stuff in the dryer. This means I have to take 20 minutes because you got to clean everything up. You got to clean the dog up. You got to take all that stuff out. Then you got to clean the floor. It's like a process, right? So, and the thing with the dog is she has to stay contained. She has to have a diaper on. If not, the mess goes everywhere. So when I got to the room and I saw that, I wanted to have a meltdown, but I did not. I went, I meditated, I breathed, and I was like, I don't know who didn't have the dog in her cage with her diaper on, but there's poop everywhere. And I'm going to have to, I'll clean it up, but I need a minute to reset. I'm outside listening to a meditation, a 5-minute meditation on letting go. And the meditation is let on the inhale and go on the exhale. And I was like, at first I was like, oh my gosh, I sat here and got so upset. I'm having a meltdown over the dog that can't help that she's an old ass dog who has to poop every 5 minutes and probably feels bad that she is doing all these things, because here I am like upset with her because they know when we're upset. But then I had to think, you know what? I'm on my way to mastery that I didn't have a meltdown. Like, I was upset, but I went and tried to regulate myself, came back. And my son had already cleaned up because he was the one who left the dog out, and he apologized to me. And I was like, it's okay. It's just like, in my mind, I had all of these expectations of what I was going to do for the next 15, 20 minutes. But it's really was not a big deal. And once I had regulated myself and brought myself back down, I felt okay. But the thing with mastery is we have to keep going through those experiences. So it's second nature. So hopefully the next time it's, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to stop what I'm doing, but it's okay because everything's for a reason and I'm just going to keep going. So I think when we're talking about mastery, it's not even just about repetition, right? Because it's not just about me doing 100 reps. Body pumps is 100 reps for each track, 1,000 altogether. It's not about doing all the reps. It's like understanding the science behind it. So one of the things that we always learned to teach was time under tension. So it wasn't that you got the heaviest weight. You didn't have to have a heavy weight because there's so many reps, but you have to have the timing right. You have to make sure that your body position is in the right place. So that way you're not going to hurt yourself and the right muscle is getting engaged. And you always would have to say, put your mind in your muscle, because when you do that, you're not just doing this, right? You're consciously putting the tension in there. So it really is more than repetition. It's knowing how and when to correct something, how to correct it, and doing it right away. That's what's going to help us get to mastery, especially when we're talking about self-mastery. So I'm just looking over my notes here. And we have to make sure that we're putting the time in. So the second part of that is putting the time into whatever it is. I got to a point where I had done AIM 2, which is like advanced instructor module 2. And you that means that you've had a certain amount of classes, you have your own class, you're able to teach other people, and you have one of the master trainers training you at that point, and you pay money for all of this. So you're willing to invest the time, the tools. You're not struggling with eating anymore at that point. You know what you need to eat to be able to perform at that level. And when we think about our mastery, we have to remember that there are certain things that we're going to put into our mind, into our heart, that we're looking at all the time, that's really going to get us to self-mastery. So a lot of that is not wasting our time on things that are not going to help us to self-mastery. It's putting the time into watching and listening to podcasts that help us get our health better, pick better food choices, not have air filters, because I just realized that I have my air filter on. Hopefully it's not too loud, but just knowing like certain things that are going to help us to live our best life and really have total optimal health, because that should be our goal. It's really not supposed to be this thing of I have to be perfect. I have to do a meditation that is perfect. I even just got out of a meditation class, and one of the things that we have as a myth is that if your mind wanders, you can't meditate, and that means that you're not like good at meditating. That's not true. One of my favorite things about learning about meditation is learning our own mind. Is it's okay. Okay, my mind wander. One of the meditations that I listen to in the morning says, if your mind wanders, bring it back to the path like you would a kid. You wouldn't yell at a kid and be like, listen, if you don't get it together and sit here and do this and think this way. No, you would be like, okay, Roxy, come on. I know it's fun and it's hard, but we're going to get down this path and then we can play, right? You would talk to a kid with kindness, and we need to learn how to really talk to our inner child that way. So the things about self-mastery is also putting the time in to learn how to do that. If I didn't take the class, I wouldn't have known like that. That's a thing that we have to like get over. If one of the intentions was to put your hand, I don't remember which way I put my hand, your hand over your heart and your stomach. And one of the things the teacher said was, and don't have judgment about your body. And I just thought about that in the moment. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing good with my eating and stuff, but I need to do better because there's still rolls here. And it's like, it sounds silly, but those are the things we get caught up in. And then I had to shake myself and I was like, wait, that's not even focus, Rox. Come back. We're not talking even about that now, but just how powerful it was that the teacher was saying, there's no judgment with the body right now. And really, I should be happy. I have 4 kids. I have made it to this time, 47 years, and my body has served me well. And now I need to take care of it and be nice to it so it can get me to the next leg of what I need to do. And one of the things that I think about when I was first starting out as a group instructor, fitness instructor, is being so hard on my body. Like, why can't you do heavier weight now? Why can't you run faster now? Why can't you do X, Y, and Z? Oh my gosh, why are you hurting shoulder? Why is this? And now it's like I had to get to a mindset of, okay, if I can leg press 400 today, I can. If not, I'll do 350. I'll do 300. And some days I don't even leg press. I'll do my in-out abductor machine, and then I'll keep it moving. So I think we need to get to a point where with mastery, we're putting in the work of different tools to pull out, right? Of different things that are triggering us to a way that we don't want to respond. Because all that is fine. Like, it's okay to be mad as well. But if your goal is to have self-regulation, to get emotional, manage your emotion and get to a point where you're emotionally intelligent, that you don't want to be just exploding to everyone, right? We have to make sure we're getting the tools that we need. All of us need tools. What tools are going to work for us? That's where we have to put the time in and then actually use those tools. So I think for our last point, I just want to say that even though it sounds easy, it's easier said than done. It's like, you still can do it. You still can self-regulate. You can manage your emotion. You can understand your own triggers, but you just got to put the time in. And it's not an exorbitant amount of time. It's just making sure that at some point throughout the day, you're checking in with yourself. One of the things that I think we don't do enough is stop and say why things are upsetting us, Or even, why does it make me happy? Because those are some things that you have to know as well. I remember when I first started on my journey a few years ago, it was like, well, what things do you like? I don't know. I had to sit there and go through again because I got so lost in motherhood and my family, which I really love. And that was my goal in life, was to love them and take care of them. But then it's like, it's a balance. And I didn't know that balance and how to be in balance. So those are things that I'm learning. I think I'm learned, not at mastery yet, but that I've learned. And how do I keep doing that? One of the things I enjoy is going to the spa. And I never thought I would love that. And I remember my sister had asked me, oh, can you go? Do you want to go to the spa next week? And this was like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, yeah, blah, blah. And then it's like the cares of the world got to me, where I was like, there's no way I can go to the spa. I have like 11 things I have to do. And then it was like, and then she was like, oh man, well, okay. She was very graceful. And I was like, you know what? She was already taking off the time. And I was like, you know what? I purpose the time as well. Why am I willing to put down the fun thing that I love to go and work, when it's always going to be work? It's always going to be things that I did not do or get to. And not saying I need to be reckless, but there are times where it's so much and I was at max capacity. I needed that break. So we went and had the time of our lives. And it was winter time, but it was like 75 outside. The universe, the Lord had planned for us to be there that day. It was a nice drive out there. It was a beautiful day. We had a good time. We just sat there, shoot the breeze, talked our crap, had a good little time out there together. I mean, we even went to a little happy hour thing afterwards. It was so nice. And I was sitting, all the things I love. The point is, it was all the things I love. I love this spa has an outdoor rooftop pool. I loved that it was warm enough that we just could sit out there. We were getting the sun. It felt so good. So I think a lot of times we're like, oh no, I don't have time. I can't do this. I can't do that. No, yes, you can. You need that to reset, and you need to know the things that help you reset. And maybe that's not for you, but you have to go through that process so you know. Like, I never thought I would be able to meditate. I sat through a whole meditation class. I probably could have sat there and learned even more about meditating. But it's just like, if I didn't set that time, that hour to find out more, how would I even have known that I would want to learn more? That I love learning the practices. So I just think, be easy on yourself. You're on your way, but it's like, be easy with yourself and just put the time in so you can get the rewards you want towards self-mastery, towards getting your degree, towards whatever it is at work. And that way you will feel like your life is doing great. Because a lot of times, if you're just going, you're not going to feel that. You're going to turn around and really be upset and miserable at some of the choices you made. So I hope that my body pump story helps you. I have a blog on Substack. I'm thinking about if I should put it on WordPress as well. I was doing it at first, but I think I will there, but there is a blog to this video. So hopefully you will get to check that out as well. And it has all the bullets there of what I went over, and also some meditative questions to ask yourself. So I love you. I hope you are looking through eyes of compassion at yourself, because that's all we can do is learn from our lessons and keep moving forward. So thank you for joining me with Unfiltered with Roxy, and have a great rest of your evening. Bye.